As Elon Musk says, Dogecoin's going to the moon. Does that mean you can pay your employees in cryptocurrency? Hey, Monica, can I pay you in cryptocurrency?
Is it going to be more than what you pay me now?
Anyway, that's next on Employment Law After Hours. Welcome back to another weekly episode of Employment Law After Hours, the show analyzing the issues keeping employers up at night. Now, we understand the going rate of Dogecoin may be keeping people up at night, and whether to pay employees in crypto may not be. However, more and more we're getting questions from employers, especially startups, about whether they can pay their employees in crypto.
But first, just a little legalese to kick it off. We're attorneys, but we're not your attorneys yet. So before you rely on anything that we're saying, make sure that you read the disclaimer below in the description and reach out to us if you have any questions.
So let's start with why a company would consider paying their employees in cryptocurrency. First, many new startups or companies trying to be hip may want to pay their employees in crypto in order to entice employees to come work for them. Second, a lot of companies with remote workers, especially workers that are international, may consider paying their employees in crypto in order to avoid exchange rates and make ease of payment easier for both the employer and the employee. Third, as I said in the intro, many companies are considering paying their employees in crypto. Therefore, kind of tying back into number one, if you're not paying your employees in crypto and everyone else in your industry is, it's definitely something that you're going to want to consider doing, again, to make sure you're enticing the top talent to come work for you.
But I guess first, Brian, maybe we should talk about whether or not an employer can't even pay their employees in crypto in the first place.
That is a great starting point. So let's kick it off with the rules.
First, we're going to be talking about the Fair Labor Standards Act. So the FLSA says that you technically have to pay your wages in cash or some other negotiable instrument, which is essentially cash, check, or direct deposit. So as those sort of tee up, that's not going to be cryptocurrency.
Now, we may have people listening in who are thinking, well, isn't cryptocurrency cash? And actually, under the IRS's rules, cryptocurrency is considered property, not cash. So again, it doesn't mean you can't pay it. We just got to get some boundaries set first under the Fair Labor Standards Act before we can make that consideration.
So I guess next question is going to be, what are those boundaries, right? As you know, everyone should know, the federal and state governments have certain minimum wage laws. So minimum wage is going to be what you would have to pay your workers at minimum for their service. So as long as you're meeting that threshold of minimum wages, anything above and beyond that can actually be paid in cryptocurrency, which is pretty interesting, as long as you're hitting two requirements. So first one's going to be that you're taxing as you would normally have to if you were paying a traditional wage. So your federal, your state taxes and whatnot, that you're keeping in mind those requirements. And then additionally, this is something that needs to be discussed and agreed upon with an employee. So you cannot require that an employee be paid in cryptocurrency. This needs to be something that's discussed and signed off on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is something that you just can't spring upon your employees. It's much better and more legal if you have them agree up front to be paid in cryptocurrency. Hence why I asked Monica if it was okay I paid her, and we'll talk about that later. Another thing that needs to be considered is the volatility of cryptocurrency. Again, an employee could end up getting shortchanged, or they may end up with a windfall if when you're paying them that crypto, it's going, it drastically drops or goes to the moon, as we like to say. So in those cases, an employee may think they're getting $10,000 in Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, if there's a crash in Bitcoin that afternoon, they could end up with $500. So it's just something that to be mindful of when making this consideration is the volatility of cryptocurrency.
All right, Brian. So now that we've sort of hit the threshold of salary and payments and whatnot, we should probably talk about bonuses. So what are your thoughts on whether or not a bonus can be paid in cryptocurrency?
If you're sitting out there and you said, wow, it's super complex to pay an employee in wages in cryptocurrency, bonuses may be the easier way to go. So essentially, you're paying your employees in their standard wages and salaries. Again, as Monica said, at least up to the minimum wage and up to the salary threshold to be an exempt employee.
Right.
But the bonuses, on the other hand, could be in addition and above and beyond, again, those wages. And just as a little enticement that's given, either when the employee's hired or throughout the year, at the end of the year. Those can be paid in cryptocurrency. However, again, you're going to want to get with your accountant, and the employee's going to want to talk to their accountant as well. In addition, the employee needs to be cognizant of the fact that they may have capital gains taxes affiliated with the cryptocurrency. So again, if you're going to go the route of paying an employee in cryptocurrency, everyone needs to be talking to their accountant and their lawyer for consideration.
Interesting, Brian. So I know that we said earlier that an employee has to sign off on whether or not their salary or base pay is going to be in some part composed of cryptocurrency. Is the same true for a bonus?
That's a great question. So technically, an employee doesn't necessarily need to sign off on having their bonus paid in a cryptocurrency, again, because this is above and beyond what's considered a wage. So as long as your accountant is on board with it and your lawyers are okay with it, the employee doesn't necessarily need to sign off on that bonus.
All right. So once again, just to recap, if you've got an employee that you're hoping to pay in some form with cryptocurrency and you're willing to do all of the tax work on it and they're willing to accept it as their form of currency, under federal and state law, you should be making sure that at least the minimum wage or their minimum salary is paid in cash or check or direct deposit, a more traditional form of payment. And then anything above and beyond that, if you're meeting all the requirements, can be paid in cryptocurrency.
So Monica, with all that being said, is it okay if I pay you in cryptocurrency?
No, it's a little too risky.
So with that being said, I'll be standing on the moon while you're looking at me from Earth. So that's all we have for you today on Employment Law After Hours. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and click on that like button. If you feel so inclined, click on that bell so you're notified next time we upload a video. We'll see you next time.
We look forward to it.